It's safe to say that 1.9, while almost 10 years old at this point, was a pretty influential update. It was a time period in which creators were able to use their creativity in the GD editor to make impressive stuff. This update brought along many things such as a newgrounds audio portal, 3 more color channels, the dark game, the wave game mode, and even accounts got a rehaul. 1.9 as an update, while revolutionary, I think wasn't explored enough during the time it was here in the main game. Sure, we had classics, but would 1.9 have given creators enough features to make levels that would hold up well nowadays? Well, I point to the 1.9 GDPS for this answer. Regardless of how you feel about the 1.9 GDPS, I believe the progress to get from the classic 1.9 levels to what we have now shows how people given long enough can create beautifully crafted levels in any given update. There is no real concise way to separate 1.9 GDPS time periods, so I'll just be using years. 2017 was the year in which the 1.9 GDPS got released to the public, and from this era, we can see a continuation of levels that follow the same style of what was present in the actual 1.9 update. Levels like Gecko Funk by Nawalk, Mescalink by Anlevel, and Malfunction by Alkali, being levels made around this time, show off a classic style that is reminiscent of 1.9. However, most levels during this time didn't really follow these styles, most actually did experiment in different ways. Take for example, levels like Alkanum by Nezopi, GFY by Tired and Wired, or even Garnfield by La Saga.
Stuffed in your face as usual.
I gotta have a good meal.
Garfield, you fat cat.
You're going into orbit, you stupid muff.
Garfield.
And the point is, I can go on. While we can see these levels having a pretty good basis and even inspire future creators, maybe not Garfield, they often lacked in some sort of polish, whether it was a lack of corner pieces or some blending glow corners overlapping. And everything that I mentioned would be a trend until at least late 2018. This year continued a similar trend of creating styles, however we can see that creators have spent more time polishing levels. We can see a slow shift in their creating philosophy. We went from attempting to emulate 1.9 to asking ourselves the question, how far can we push the editor? We see some creators make interesting levels throughout this year, just like in 2017 and 2018, but this is where we start to see a clear branch forming for different types of level styles. For design, while no new breakthroughs were happening other than the occasional good mega collab part, I forgot to mention certain creators. Avermess. While Avermess wasn't too particularly active in the game, he made builds during this time that stack up to some levels that we see in the current year, which just shows how good he is. Lucky is also another creator that was prominent. Though most of their builds are now considered lost, they do have a level called I Can't Make Friends, which showed off a unique design style along with intertwined usage of effects. For the final creator I want to talk about during this time period is Arca. Arca is considered one of the best creators in 1.9 even nowadays, as in 2019 he was making intricate art designs with tons of thought and polish put onto them. One of these creators, specifically SigRP, would use the concept of modern to try to integrate it with 1.9 with some success. Levels like 4, Aguatos, and Opposite would showcase a type of style that wasn't really delved into 1.9 at this point, and would serve as another foundation of what to come. Some creators like Bally would take this spin on modern and create stuff that was truly ahead of his time. A level like Refraction was a glimpse into what we would see in the future. The effects scene seemed to be in a primitive state. However, later in 2019, an up-and-coming creator at the time by the name of Samu would create Imagine, which would showcase how effects in 1.9 could stack up to regular design levels. This year is the most important one to hit 1.9. With the pandemic hitting, many people had a lot more time on their hands, and some used it to push 1.9 to an insane amount. Creators during this time would show that 1.9 wasn't even close to its limits, not only in difficulty, but in design, effects, and modern styles. 1.9 at this moment was going into a creating revolution. No matter what style of creating you were involved in, there was something unique happening. Levels made months ago during this time couldn't compare to levels being made now. For example, Crystal Heights by Grenade of Tacos, Waiting by La Saga, or ZZZ by SigRP. These levels had an increase of creative structures and smart use of glow and 3DL to create intricate designs that most creators 2 years ago would have dreamed of. As for effects, we saw a rise in these types of levels as an alternate for the design meta. Effects as a whole was crucial during this time, so much to the point where effect gain had gotten its start, with creators there proving themselves to be talented with this style. Examples I could bring up are Zero by Samu, Key by Rolls, or 45 through 123 by Kiter. Well, that's not all, they are some of my favorites. Modern is no exception either. Japan Modern Thing by Grenade and CRP had gotten attention from the wider community just due to the nature of building something this unique and ambitious within an update, which, keep in mind, 1.9 only has 4 main changeable color channels. The sheer amount of levels released during this time that I can mention is huge, and if I went through all of them, we'd be here for a while. Most creators, returning or new, were on their A-game and propelled 1.9 to new heights. Fun fact, 1.9 even exploded in popularity as the level project reunion was also happening around this time, which was a much needed spotlight for these creators. And it won't feel fitting if I don't mention 1010. While 1010 isn't necessarily too impressive in some parts, when it came out, it felt like an ending to an era. Old creators still had their parts placed in, along with the newer parts, making the level feel like you're traveling through time. This year brought so much out of the 1.9 community that the fact that it even garnered main community attention is insane. This server started off as a niche and gimmicky private server, with levels from here not even getting rated. This was a really big deal, not only for 1.9, but for every other private server. And while I can call it quits, our story doesn't exactly end here. 2020, while being influential, this was also a pretty important year for creating. Many creators yet again proved themselves that they can indeed push the envelope with 1.9 levels. 2021 came in full swing with the level released by Grenade of Tacos and Royan, Goldcrest Palace, making a statement that 1.9 levels can compete with 2.1 in terms of prettiness. Creators who improved from their old works are Henry, who showed that the creating boom from 2020 improved his game while also dropping a mega collab called Impasse. Solsta, who made Bangarang, proved that while an old head, could make insane stuff such as Riot. Surzia, while really impactful during this 2020 year, would plan out more levels in 2021, such as Friday Vortex, Surzia Difficult, and another phase. And this isn't even talking about his playing side either. Even Samu, who pushed the effects scene into new heights in 2020, would come back and wow the server yet again with Off Limit. Many creators we see nowadays got their start during this year, and while I would like to mention them all, there's many that I'm sure I'm missing. Although, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. While Electric Bomb was not new to 1.9 at all, this level proved he could sit above with the greats. It's emotional, it's pretty, it's a really good level. Old and new, many people were captured by it. So what now? Well, I think we have our answer to the question that we posed. While I didn't cover the last 2 years of 1.9 creating, I believe we can confidently extrapolate that given a scenario in which 1.9 lasted several years with no new updates, would it have been enough? Well, the answer is yes, if you've been following along. We talked about how creators can go from classic 1.9 to stuff that competes with some of the more contemporary levels in 2.1 by showing off the progress of 1.9 level styles. Maybe it would have taken longer in actual 1.9, as the 1.9 GDPS built off of some creating knowledge that creators figured out in Knocker points of 2.0. But clearly these tools are enough, and it's why people still build in 1.9 to this day, and still get rates on the main servers even in 2.2. You don't have to be a fan of this whole 1.9 thing, but you can't deny the insane dedication from every person who has ever contributed a level to the server.